Part 141. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1401. After cleaning up the house, Feng Qingxiu took Zhang Xiaoyu to her bedroom. I made clothes for you and Tian Wan. Passing through the main room, Zibao happened to be dancing and talking about what he had seen and heard in his hometown. At this moment, when he mentioned Guan Yu, he said without politeness, Brother Au wanted to fight with Sister Jojo, and he also a sneak attack from behind, but Sister Jojo threw her so hard that her face turned blue. Fu Bao's tender voice then rose up, bad guy. Gays beat lesbians, Brother Au is so bad. Bad, Dun Dun and Zhuang nodded. Lu Erxiang's eyes shone brightly, fight? I can do it too. He was just humming and dancing on the spot. Although he was very fat, he was a nimble little fat man. He imitated the training of soldiers in the army and punched and kicked well, but in the end he accidentally fell down and squatted on his butt. Xiang, you are very talented, keep up the good work, Lu Tianjun said with a smile. Okay, Lu Erxiang's voice was very loud, and he immediately listed Lu Tianjun as his second favorite person, because he did not say that he was not good at fighting, but encouraged him to fight. If Lu Tianjun's words could bring about such an effect, he would definitely regret it. His original intention was that Xiang had a talent for practicing martial arts. Feng Qingxiu shook her head, pulled Zhang Xiaoyu into the bedroom, and ignored their conversation. Tianjun and I will definitely wear military uniforms when we get married, and we also wear military uniforms every day. You don't have to work hard to make clothes for us. Looking at the two neatly folded sets of spring clothes, Zhang Xiaoyu's eyes were sour. There was a red shirt among the women's clothes. True red, very bright. I borrowed someone else's sewing machine. It's not hard. Feng Qingxiu touched the red shirt and said, marriage is a lifelong event. Although there is no need to wear red clothes and be armed now, you still have to have what you should have. When no one sees it, when you are married, you must wear this red shirt on your wedding day to feel a little bit happy about your wedding, and the days to come will be prosperous. Zhang Xiaoyu hummed with a heavy nasal voice, we don't plan to hold a wedding in the army. Dad and uncle's status is there. Holding a wedding will definitely attract a lot of attention, so we just get a certificate and have a meal with the family. The implication is that she can wear this red shirt that day. I've wronged you. Feng Qingxiu felt very distressed. Holding a lively wedding was a luxury in this era. Zhang Xiaoyu smiled nonchalantly, everyone came here like this, what do I have to feel wronged about? I'm not wronged at all. Who told me to choose a rich son-in-law for myself? Everyone who sees it says I have a good vision. Is 100 times better than Li Jun who married Su Lanfang. Oh, by the way, Tian Wan is already married, and he is not the former soldier. I wonder if my dad told me. I didn't mention it, but looking at Zhang Yun's attitude, you can tell how satisfied he is with Lu Tianjun. With Lu Tianjun's intelligence, it is not unusual at all to mention him, and Lu Zhang and Feng Qingxiu didn't inquire carefully. Lu Tianjun and Zhang Xiaoyu's vacation was limited, and they had to rush back to the capital after staying for 2 days. Feng Qingxiu originally wanted to follow him. She and Lu Zhang had both said to Zhang Yun earlier that Lu Zhang could not get away and she would definitely arrive. However, on the night before departure, Zhuang had a fever and his face turned red. Before Feng Qingxiu could speak, Zhang Xiaoyu said, Auntie is taking care of the children at home. My marriage to Tianjun is not a big deal. A strong body is the most important thing. Besides, Grandpa and Zibao can represent the Lu family when they arrive. Auntie, if we don't go, we can save some rations when eating. The last sentence was deliberately said in a relaxed tone. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1402. Feng Qingxiu felt very satisfied. In her heart, her strong body really had the upper hand. Then I won't go. Please be careful on the road. Okay, Zhang Xiaoyu answered simply, and, take good care of Zhuang Zhuang. Feng Qingxiu was naturally meticulous. After Lu's father and others left, she devoted herself to taking care of Zhuang Zhuang. Needless to say, Fu Bao and Dun Dun. Fu Bao didn't go to school, so he was very obedient and handed her a towel to cool down Zhuang Zhuang. Lu Erxian was careful when he spoke. Although the child is young, he is very sensible when he should be sensible. Suddenly, Feng Qingxiu was extremely happy. It turned out that Xiong was also well behaved sometimes. Mom, when will my brother be ready? Lu Erxian lay on the edge of the bed. He was very jealous of how his mother always held his brother today. He was so big and still let his mother hold him. Lu Erxian looked at his brother with contempt, and then, his face collapsed, and he also wanted his mother to hug him. She felt fragrant and soft. Zhuang Zhuang's fever has subsided a little, but he is not in good spirits, and his ground is limp and clinging to Feng Qingxiu. Feng Qingxiu hugged her youngest son, who was at least 10 kilograms lighter than Xiong's son. Looking at his haggard little face, her heart ached and ached. It must be that she had not taken good care of her, which was why Zhuang Zhuang caught cold and fever. After hearing what Xiong's son said, Feng Qingxiu whispered, "Brother will be fine soon, Xiong is a good boy." Lu Erxian hummed, holding his fat chin with both hands, "I'm very good." Lu Zhang was worried about his youngest son's condition and was not sloppy at all when handling his work. He couldn't go home late at night like before. At this moment, the phone suddenly rang. He reached out and picked up the phone. "Hello, I'm Lu Zhang." "It's me, Zhang." Ye Zhenjun's hearty laughter sounded from the other end. "How have you been lately? Have you encountered anything unsatisfactory at work or in life?" A smile appeared on Lu Jiang's lips. "Everything goes well, how about you? Are you under control?" Ye Zhenjun laughed and said, "Although Lao He made a mistake in the middle, it was always in order during your management, and it's as if I never left. By the way, let me tell you one thing first." "I think I should tell you." Lu Zhang asked what it was about, and Ye Zhenjun smiled and said, Zhao Anbang, do you still remember?" "Of course I remember. He is now in Huihei City and has been promoted. He is Zibao's godfather. We often keep in touch. Unfortunately, either I or Feng Qingxiu took the child back to his hometown several times, and Zhao Anbang was either on a business trip, or went to the northwest to visit my old father, and never got away to get together with them." Ye Zhenjun smiled and said, "I forgot about this. You can tell him some good news, which is what I want to tell you." "What is going on?" Old Army Commander Lu Zhang was worried. "Zhao Anbang's father is Zhao Depeo. I didn't know Zhao Anbang's father was him until I was in the Northwest. When I first joined the army, we were in the same unit. I didn't expect that he later changed his name. After the founding of the People's Republic of China, we didn't even recognize each other when we met. 1 or 2 we haven't seen each other for 10 years, and his appearance has changed a lot, and he got into an accident early. I met him when I was participating in labor reform, and we got to know each other after we talked a lot." Lu Jiang's heart skipped a beat. "I never heard you mention it. Could it be that the good news you mentioned was that Uncle Zhao's situation has turned around?" "Yes. You try to contact Zhao Anbang and ask him to pick up his father. I just received news from the capital, and I think you will receive it soon. Zhao Depeo is allowed to return to his hometown to recuperate. Work issues are not mentioned for the time being. He will go home first. Reunion is more important." Lu Zhang was overjoyed. "Okay, I'll notify him right away. Update first. Go to the hospital first. If you arrive late, you will have to wait in line until 10 o'clock to get water. Please give me a monthly ticket for the first month of the game. I will update again at noon. I have my mobile phone and laptop with me." You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1403. As soon as he hung up the phone from Ye Zhenjun, Lu Zhang received a call from Zhang Yun. It also told him that Zhao Deipao could return to his hometown to recuperate. The Lu and Zhang families were in-laws. Of course Zhang Yun knew the relationship between Lu Zhang and Zhao Anbang, and knew that Zibao was Zhao Anbang's godson. A phone call is often faster than a message. For senior cotters in the capital, news is naturally faster than telegrams. Ye Zhenjun has many connections, so he received the news in advance, because Zhao Anbang used to be his subordinate, and Lu Jiang's current connections are not bad. Although most people don't know about his relationship with Zhao Anbang, it is enough for one person to know, not to mention the documents it has been issued, but it is an ordinary document, not a telegram, so it will take a certain amount of time to arrive at the Northwest Farm. After ending the call with Zhang Yun, Lu Zhang immediately dialed Cheng Baoqiu's number. "Third uncle, is Anbang here? If he is, ask him to answer the phone. If he is not, ask him to call me back as soon as he comes back." Cheng Baoqiu heard his voice was very urgent, as if he had something important to say. "Don't worry, Anbang is here, I'll ask him to come over." Zhao Anbang came over quickly and picked up the phone. "Ah Zhang, what's the matter?" Hearing Zhao Anbang's voice, Lu Zhang smiled and said, "Hurry home, pack your things, and set off immediately." "Why am I setting off? Please tell me clearly. Don't keep half of the words on your lips. You were not like this before. Have you changed after we haven't seen each other for a few years? I am very tired from frequent business trips, so what's the matter? I haven't seen you every time." Zhao Anbang was also very upset. "Fortunately, Zibao is staying at home, so I can go find my son when I'm free." Lu Zhang couldn't help but said, "Zibao and his father went to the capital to attend Tianjuan's wedding, and they are not at home now." Zhao Anbang was immediately speechless. After a moment, he said feebly, "Tell me, what do you want from me?" "Uncle Zhao's good news, do you want to hear it?" Lu Zhang still spoke in a roundabout way. "My dad," Zhao Anbang perked up, "good news about my dad? Could it be that the country has resumed his job? Ye Zhenjun was able to resume work after he was decentralized, so his father should also have a chance, right?" Zhao Anbang felt a glimmer of hope in his heart. Lu Zhang said seriously, "We have to wait for the opportunity to resume work. Now Uncle Zhao can go back to his hometown to recuperate. I heard from Comrade Zhang Yun that several old comrades in arms of Uncle Zhao were behind the scenes, saying that old Zhao, my uncle, is old, frail, and sick, and it is difficult for him to handle the current intensity of labor. We allow him to go home to recuperate because he has long since repented and accepted the labor reform. That's enough, that's enough. It's good to come back. It's good to go home." Zhao Anbang went to visit his old father. "That is not a place for people to live. Going home is more important than any work." Lu Zhang smiled slightly and said, "As long as I can come back, everything will be easy in the future." When this news came from the capital, the document had already been sent out, and it was ironclad. "You set off immediately. When the document is sent to the Northwest, you will probably arrive." "Okay, that's all. Zhuang is sick and his mother is taking care of them at home alone. I have to go home." He kept an eye on the time and found that it was time to call off work. Zhao Anbang nodded while he was talking. "I understand, I remember it, don't worry, I'll ask for leave right now, and I'll set off right away." "Wait, you said Zhuang is sick? How is it? Does it matter?" "It's a fever, don't worry, I won't tell you any more, hang up now." Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1404. Zhao Anbang was more anxious than Lu Zhang. After hanging up the phone, he asked Chen Baoqiu for leave and ran home quickly. An arm is missing, but his legs and feet are fine. He worked in the city. After his job became stable, he soon brought his mother, sister, and nephew to his side. He now has no wife and children. Aunt Zhao and Zhao Qiahong both felt sorry for him and took good care of him. They told Zhao Tiankai every day and would like to ask for help in the future. Provide care for Zhao Anbang and be filial to him, but he joined the army at the beginning of the year. Although Zhao Anbang changed his career and returned to his hometown, he had many connections. Without disturbing Lu Zhang, he easily got his nephew a place in the army. After passing all the requirements, he officially enlisted. Now is the training period for new recruits. Yes, it's a nephew. Zhao Tiankai's surname is Zhao. Of course he is a nephew and not a nephew. At this moment, Mrs. Zhao and her daughter were both pasting cloth boards on the table in the yard. They used paste to stick various rags together layer by layer to form a big cloth board, and finally flattened it to dry. It is a good material for every household to make shoes. The soles and uppers are cut out from cloth boards according to the shoe shape and then sewn. Zhao Anbang rushed home out of breath and saw this scene. Mom, eldest sister, pack my things quickly. If you don't have national food stamps, bring me food. You can also exchange for food. I will go to the train station immediately, buy a ticket and set off. Are you going on a business trip again? Zhao Qiahong asked, but his hand was not in a hurry. You have to exchange for national food stamps before going on a business trip. No, after Zhao Anbang denied it, he closed the door, walked to his mother and sister, and lowered his voice, Dad can come back. The documents have been handed down. Dad can come back. I'll pick him up. Aunt Zhao and Zhao Qiahong said in disbelief, What? What did you say? Zhao Anbang said one word at a time, the superiors allow Dad to go home to recuperate. I will go and bring Dad back. Zhao Qiahong burst into tears, and Aunt Zhao also burst into tears, covering her face with her hands. Your father can come back. Can your father come back? It's great, it's great. For more than 10 years, I have been waiting for him to come home for the rest of my life, and I have finally waited for it. Zhao Anbang's eyes were sour, and he supported his mother with one hand. When Dad comes back, we will be reunited as a family, don't cry. Yes, yes, it's better than anything else to be reunited as a family. Aunt Zhao grabbed her son's sleeve and said, Who did you listen to? Is the news accurate? Your father is not here, the documents should be sent to the Northwest Farm. Zhao Anbang whispered, Ajiang informed me that the documents have indeed come down and will be sent directly to the Northwest. I am going to pick up Dad. Who is Lu Zhang? Could Aunt Zhao not know? Since he notified Zhao Anbang, he must have gotten the real news. Aunt Zhao choked up and said, Okay, let your sister pack your things, put on the clothes, shoes, and socks I made for your father, and put them on from head to toe after leaving that place. I will go and change the whole country for you food stamps, you two have to eat on the way back. After saying that, she went back to the house to get local food stamps and hurried out. Zhao Anbang often travels on business, and Aunt Zhao is already used to exchanging local food stamps for national food stamps. She usually goes to Chen Ming. Chen Ming, who was transferred to the city, still does food-related work, which is very convenient. Because of Lu Zhang, Zhao Anbang got to know Chen Ming, and the relationship has been maintained well over the years. Both of them lost an arm on the battlefield, and they felt sorry for each other. As soon as he heard that Zhao Anbang was going to pick up Zhao Deipao, Chen Ming got 100 kilograms of national food stamps for Aunt Zhao without saying a word. I have to take care of it when I get to the Northwest Farm. Don't be polite to me, auntie. Continue at noon. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1405. On the other side, Zhuang's body gradually improved, and both Lu Zhang and Feng Qingxiu breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, it was just a fever and did not turn into pneumonia. After learning that Zhao Deipao could go home to recuperate, Feng Qingxiu was very happy for their family and whispered, "This shows that everything will get back on track slowly, even if this catastrophe ends 6 years later." Lu Zhang very much agreed with his wife's statement. He had a day off and wandered around the house holding Zhuang, who was still not in good spirits. Zhuang became very squeamish when he got sick. He didn't want to lie on the bed and had to let his parents hold him. He was also very clingy. Of course, when Feng Qingxiu had free time, he would definitely abandon his father and go to his mother. Dun Dun watched Fu Bao draw honestly, with a very attentive attitude, and he looked like a good boy at first glance. Lu Erxian finished the peanut candy in his hand, licked the candy stains on his fingers, rolled his big eyes, and said loudly, "Mom, I want to eat big fish." "There are no big fish," Feng Qingxiu replied decisively. Fish tickets were issued at the beginning of the month, and Feng Qingxiu bought 2 yellow croakers. The boy still remembers them after eating them. Lu Erxian rummaged through his pockets and finally found out a penny. "I have money. Mom can buy it." "Buy a big fish?" Lu Zhang said amusingly, "The penny you have is enough to buy a piece of candy, or a hard candy. What kind of big fish can you buy? Just watch your sister paint with your brother, and I will make delicious food for you at noon." As soon as he heard that there was something delicious, Lu Erxian immediately shut up and climbed onto the chair to watch Fu Bao's painting while not forgetting to put the penny back into his pocket. After a while, Lu Erxian couldn't sit still, and it felt like there was a needle in his butt. "Dad, let's go out and play." Zhuang fell ill, Lu Zhang went out early and came back late, and Feng Qingxiu didn't even take them out to play. Feng Qingxiu finished her chores, washed her hands and dried them, and took Zhuang into her arms. "Ajiang, take Dun Dun and Erxian out for a walk. They have really been bored out of their minds these past few days." She knew very well that in the past few days, she had only been focusing on Zhuang, which had aggrieved Fu Bao and her other 2 sons. Lu Zhang thought for a while it's still early, let's take a car and go around the city. Wandering around the army compound every day, children probably found out everything everywhere. Children like Xiong must be tired of it. "I'm not going. You can take the 2 children with you. Zhuang hasn't fully recovered yet, and I'm afraid that he will get sick again after a stroke." Feng Qingxiu only cares about Zhuang's body now, so she doesn't dare to take risks. Lu Zhang sighed, "Okay, I'll take Dun Dun and Xiong to play." Fu Bao stopped writing, "I'll go too, the city must be more fun than the army compound." Okay, Dad will wait for you to finish painting and go out together." Lu Jiang's attitude towards his daughter is completely different from his attitude toward his son. "Your mother often says that things should start and end. You continue to paint." Fu Bao hummed. She learned all the basic techniques and finished them quickly. After looking at them carefully for a moment, she got up and packed up the painting tools in an orderly manner. She washed what needed to be washed and brushed what needed to be washed without letting her parents worry at all. "Dad, I've finished painting. Please wait while I put on the new gown my mother made for me." Although it is late March, the weather is still a bit cold, especially since the troops are stationed in relatively remote places. Adults and children have to wear thick coats when going out. Fu Bao's new coat is made of red plaid wool, and Fu Bao likes it very much. The triplets don't have many new clothes. Most of them are Zi Bao's old clothes, but Fu Bao is different. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1406. Fu Bao is a girl and loves beauty. Feng Qingxiu is willing to pamper her without affecting her husband and family. Fu Bao has snow-white skin and jet-black hair. Wearing this red plaid woolen gown and a red headband, she looks like a pink jade sculpture, with picturesque features, watery and pretty eyes, attracting a lot of attention along the way. Although she is ashamed of dressing up nowadays, she is a 5 or 6-year-old girl, and she cannot be called well-groomed. Such is the so-called natural beauty, even wearing rags and rags can't hide the fact that she is a beautiful little girl. After finally getting off the crowded bus, Ping Zhenkai led Dun Dun behind Lu Zhang and said with a smile, "Our Fuebao is getting better and better as it gets longer. You must hold Comrade Lu's hand tightly and don't talk to us separated." "Thank you, Uncle Ping." Fuebao was not shy at all and was very generous. "Of course, my daughter is the smartest, cutest, and most beautiful little girl in the world." Lu Zhang held his daughter in one hand and his son Xiong in the other, and responded proudly to Ping Zhenkai. In fact, all the compliments are inferior to the word good-looking. Fu Bao smiled broadly and was almost jumping around like a bear. Suddenly, she remembered that the jumping posture was unsightly. She immediately calmed down, took light steps, and began to behave in a reserved and elegant manner. Lu Jiang's belly was full of smiles. His wife often said that children like to imitate their parents in their words and deeds, and she was indeed right. The daughter's current appearance is clearly a smaller version of his wife. Fu Bao imitated Feng Qingxiu, and Lu Erxian was obviously imitating his father. He broke away from Lu Jiang's hand and walked in front, holding his head high and chest out, walking like a dragon or a tiger. But he was too young and too fat, so he imitated in a nondescript manner, which almost caused unintentional mistakes. Lu Zhang was furious when he caught a glimpse of him. "Dad, buy a big fish." Lu Erxian quickly ran to the fish counter and looked at the fish swimming in the bucket. Children just love animals, and Lu Erxian was so excited that he jumped up and down. In fact, there is not much to do in the city. The places of interest and historical sites are all damaged, and because they belong to the old culture, no one will pay homage to them. After wandering around, I walked into the grocery store unknowingly, as if it was the way Lu Erxian led me. Lu Erxian. Lu Jiang's face turned livid with anger and he stared at Xiong's son who was lying next to the bucket looking at the fish after jumping over. Lu Erxian was unaware and turned around and waved to Lu Jiang, Dad, come quickly, there are big fish, big carp." Ping Zhenkai smiled and said, "I actually know the big carp, Xiong is really smart." The fish seller looked at them and knew that they were not ordinary people. Although Lu Jiang was not wearing a military uniform, Ping Zhenkai was. She looked like a follower beside Lu Jiang, so Lu Jiang must be a leader. She smiled kindly and said, "It can be purchased with a ticket." "I have money." Lu Erxian dug out his penny, stretched it out to hand it to the fish seller, and said confidently, "I have money, I buy fish, big carp." The fish seller laughed heartily, looked at the cute little white fat man, and teased him, "It's not enough, I can't even buy the fish tails." Lu Erxian ran over and pulled Lu Jiang over, "My father is rich. I have money, but I don't have a ticket." Lu Jiang said bluntly, "You can't buy fish without a ticket." Lu Erxian bit his finger, but before he could say anything, a hand stretched out from beside him, holding a fish ticket and a city resident supply certificate. "I have them here, catch 2 big carps for Xiong." Lu Jiang turned around and saw Li Shuishan's face. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1407. Lu Jiang seemed particularly happy when he met Li Shuitian in Beizhu. Calculating the time, Li Shuitian has been away from the army for a long time. Time flies so fast. At that time, Zhuang just knew how to call his mother. Comrade Shui Tian? Why are you here? Lu Zhang remembered that although Li Shuishan's hometown was in Ji, it was not Beizhu. When he left the army, he was arranged to return directly to his hometown. Li Shuitian handed the fish ticket and the urban resident supply certificate to the fish seller, and took out 5 yuan and handed it over. While watching the fish seller collect the money to catch fish, he said with a smile, "Buy fish for Xiong first, and then come to my house for dinner. Let's talk about it slowly. Why I am here, it's a long story, it's hard to make it short." Lu Jiang's next words were blocked in one sentence. Lu Erxian was the happiest. Seeing the 2 big carp jumping out of the bucket, he also cheered loudly, "Big fish, big carp, sister, big carp." He grabbed Fu Bao with his free hand. Of clothes. Fu Bao looked solemn and said, "The fish is not yours, it belongs to Uncle Shui Tian." Lu Erxian immediately handed the penny he was holding to Li Shui Tian. The latter was stunned, staring at the hot penny and looking at Lu Zhang. "Is Xiong buying fish from me? Give me a penny." Lu Zhang held back his laughter. "That's right. And it's all his property. It is already good for a little kid like Erxian to know that money is needed to buy things. As for the prices? Sorry, he doesn't have that concept yet." "That's smart, but I bought the fish for you to eat. I don't want your money." Li Shuitian put a penny into Xiong's pocket. Lu Erxian blinked his big eyes a few times. "Thank you, uncle." He covered his pocket tightly with his little hands. "You're welcome." Li Shuitian patted Xiong's head, first took the city resident's supply certificate and put it into his canvas bag, and then held the 2 carps tied with straw ropes in his hands. "They say they are big carps, but they are actually not big, weighing about 2 pounds each. In many places, fish tickets are only available during holidays, such as Labor Day, National Day, and Spring Festival, and each person can only get half a caddy of fish tickets, except those near rivers, lakes, and seas." Li Shuitian explained to Lu Zhang, "There is a big lake nearby, and there are half a caddy of fish stamps here every month, which doubles during the holidays. Many residents are reluctant to buy them, so they give away their fish stamps to others or just like candy coupons. If they don't want to buy them or there is a large population and a large supply, they give them to those in need." He had been in the army for many years. After his son passed away, the couple had limited expenses and saved a lot of money. Cao Hongju had a good relationship with his neighbors. He would give them food stamps that the other party could not afford or could not use up. They lived a good life. "It's quite tasty." The fish seller obviously knew him, and pointed to the half-dead shrimp in the bucket. "You can buy it with the supply certificate, no tickets required." Li Shuitian took a few glances into the bucket and took out the supply certificate he had put back in. "Sister Zhang, I have a visitor at home. It's not easy to meet comrades in the army. They also brought 3 children with them. I want 3 kilograms of live shrimps, don't let me kill you. Okay, if I dare to do you harm, Comrade Hongju will not come to me to settle accounts." Cao Hongju's toughness is well known to everyone. Li Shuitian smiled, not ashamed, but proud. After buying fish and shrimp, Li Shuitian also bought a few kilograms of seasonal vegetables and some free pork skins and pig offal. After scraping together enough for a few dishes, he stopped. Dun Dun went to play with Fu Bao, and Ping Zhenkai hurriedly stepped forward to help. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1408. While Li Shuitian was queuing up to buy something, Lu Zhang looked around and listened. Most of his attention was on his children, and the rest was on the crowd at the grocery store. Suddenly, he saw a familiar face. It was so familiar that he recognized it at a glance and couldn't help but rub his eyes. When he looked over again, the owner of that face had already left the place, probably leaving the grocery store. "Shui Tian," Lu Zhang called him. "How did I see Lu Zayadai?" Li Shuitian took back the change from the butcher and said, "You read that right, it's her." Lu Zhang was stunned. "Why is she here? Did Jin Hong leave the army?" Lu Zhang regretted not asking Ye Zhenjun about the current situation of the army. "My Hongju always says it's called enemies meeting on a narrow road." Li Shuitian didn't directly answer Lu Jiang's question, but said with emotion, "What a coincidence, Jin Hong and Lu Zayadai's house is separated from ours by a wall." Lu Jiang chuckled, "You guys became neighbors. What, are we not neighbors who are separated by a wall?" "No, we are enemies on a narrow road." Li Shuitian took them out of the grocery store and walked towards his home road. He did not forget that the reason why he had to leave the army was because of Jin Hong, and this hatred was irreconcilable. If you listen to what I say next, you will completely understand what it means to be enemies and never get together again. An idea flashed in Lu Jiang's mind, and he asked tentatively, "Are you working together too?" Although Li Shuitian left the army due to reporting and was not transferred to another job, with his ability and connections, it was easy to find a job back in his hometown, and he must have settled in Beizhu because of his work. Jin Hong is very good at drilling. If he is expelled from the army for his crimes, he can still find a job to support his family. Li Shuitian patted his thigh and said, "I haven't seen you for more than a year. Comrade Lu Zhang, you are really clever." The reason why he left the army was that Cao Hongju said that Yi Zi can eat each other without covering up his face, which ruined the image of the country. Even if it was not from his mouth, he was still a husband and wife, so he could only return to his hometown to farm after leaving the army. Originally, he and his wife had money, and when they were short of food, they could go to the black market to buy high-priced grain, and they could live out the rest of their lives peacefully as farmers. However, he was always reluctant to leave the army, and he remembered what Lu Zhang said to him before leaving the army. He still wanted to return to the army, but things were different. They had been away from their hometown for too long, and they had already become estranged from their fellow villagers. And because many people said that Cao Hongju was a hen that could not lay eggs, he felt sorry for his wife and decided to find her. "I got a job and settled in Beizhu." He is not from Beizhu, but his wife's natal family is, although her natal family no longer has any parents. "It's been almost a year since Comrade Cao Hongju and I settled in Beizhu." Li Shuitian opened the door of his home and continued talking to Lu Zhang. "We were living a stable life, but who knew that Jin Hong and Lu Zayadai would suddenly appear in the middle of the road?" Lu Zhang asked, "How long has Jin Hong been here?" He had been transferred to Beizhu for less than a year. He believed that Jin Hong had been here for even less time. At least Jin Hong was still very prosperous before he left the army. Li Shuitian replied, 2 months, they came 2 months ago. By the way, Comrade Lu Zhang, why did Jin Hong leave the army? Why are you here? After he left the army, he had no contact with his comrades in the army and had no idea what happened after he left. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1409. Cao Hongju was drying clothes in the small courtyard. When she turned around and saw Lu Zhang and the 3 children, she was also surprised. "Commander of the army? How come you have time to come to Beizhu?" She suffered an injury to her tongue. Although she was treated by Feng Qingxiu and others, she failed to follow up and her speech is now a little slurred. Lu Zhang nodded slightly at her. "I was transferred here last year. I also came to the city during this period, but I haven't seen you." The fish seller's attitude towards Li Shuitian is very enthusiastic, which shows that Li Shuitian's job is not easy. Cao Hongju's expression was calm and indifferent now. He was a completely different person than when he reported the Lu family, Qi family, and others. He replied with a smile to Lu Zhang, "There is a huge sea of people. How can we say that we will bump into each other? We have only been here for less than a month. Year. You are a military commander, and transfers are usually for promotion or promotion. There are long live army soldiers here in Beizhu. Are you transferred to the long live army? Lu Zhang neither admitted nor denied it. Unable to resist, he followed Ping Zhenkai beside him. Yes, sister-in-law, the leader is now in charge of the long live army. Are both sister-in-law and comrade Shui Tian from the Border Defense Force? Yes. Only then did Cao Hongzhi notice Ping Zhenkai and the things in his hands. He hurriedly invited them into the house to drink tea and took the things smoothly. Li Shuitian poured water and took out the edible cakes and preserves at home for Fu Bao and Dun Dun Zhuang Zhuang. At this time, he realized that Zi Bao and Zhuang Zhuang were missing. Why didn't those two precious eggs come out to play together? Zi Bao and his grandfather went to the capital to attend his eldest cousin's wedding. Zhuang Zhuang is in good health, but the spring is warm and cold, so we dare not take him out. Shui Tian, comrade Cao Hongzhi, don't take the delicious food, a few children eat it, not that many things. Seeing Lu Erxiang's mouth bulging and his hands full, Lu Zhang was so angry that it was really embarrassing. Cao Hongzhi said with a smile, we don't have much delicious food at home, there are just two. Let the children choose what they like. Erxiang swallowed the food in his mouth and said, thank you, ma'am. He looked so similar to Dun Dun that Cao Hongzhi couldn't tell which of the triplets he was. You're welcome. Eat quickly. I'll pour you some water. Can you tell me your name? My name is Lu Erxiang. Cao Hongzhi nodded to express her understanding, poured water for him, and then for Fu Bao and Dun Dun. She couldn't help but praise, Fu Bao is getting more and more handsome as he grows. He is just like your mother who was cast in the same mold. Thank you, Auntie. Fu Bao liked hearing this sentence. Ping Zhenkai listened to Lu Zhang and went out to buy things. Li Shuitian asked, does comrade Lu Zhang know the reason why Jin Hong left the army? I was just going to ask you, Lu Zhang said. When I left the army, Jin Hong was still the director of his political department. Yes, he replaced you, and he was the one who reported you in the first place. When Cao Hongzhi heard this, his eyes turned red. I knew it was him. Mr. Shuitian said you can't convict people casually without evidence. Li Shuitian had expected it and did not grit his teeth like his wife. It's not surprising. After I left the army, I was naturally replaced by someone from below. However, Lu Zayadai has always claimed that Jin Hong changed his job and returned to his hometown. I don't believe this. If he changes his job, how could Jin Hong be inferior to me? His rank in the army is so high. Yes, I don't believe it either. Cao Hongzhi's eyes revealed a trace of ridicule, although Lu Zayadai kept saying that Jin Hong did not want to burden the country after changing his job, so he preferred to be an ordinary police officer, but he can deceive others but cannot deceive us. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 1410. Public Security. Lu Zhang expressed great surprise. Jin Hong works at the police station. Yes, Li Shuitian answered the question on behalf of his wife, with a smile on his face, and he happened to be my subordinate. I came from the army, so when I was looking for a job, I specifically found a job at the police station. Comrade Lu Zhang, I never gave up the training I received in the army, so with the help of my comrades, I went to the police station and was put into good use. Cao Hongzhi interjected, Paddy Field is very powerful. In less than a year, he solved many large and small cases and was promoted to deputy director. Jin Hong asked someone to find this job this year. Isn't it under the Paddy Field? He is in the army. She always wanted to replace Shui Tian, and he did not hesitate to harm our husband and wife to this extent. I didn't expect that he would have to obey Shuishan's command. This is called a cycle of heaven and retribution. I just don't know why he left the army. If I were, I know, I have to spread the word everywhere, that Lu Zayadai is simply a lunatic, telling people everywhere that Shui Tian had to retire from the army because he was reported to have been convicted of a crime. Madman. Wasn't Cao Hongju no different from a lunatic when she reported her family and the Qi family? Lu Zhang glanced at Cao Hongju and said nothing. Cao Hongju was very smart, how could he not guess the look in Lu Jiang's eyes? Embarrassedly, I said, I was half crazy at that time. When I thought about my poor child, I fell into madness. I did something like reporting your family, which I regret very much now when I think about it. But I reported those things about the Qi family. No regrets at all. The person we dealt with that time deserved it. After investigation, our family can live a stable life. No matter how others report our extravagant lifestyle, no one above will believe it. Lu Zhang said something more pertinent, it's Comrade Qi Gang's. He is relatively old and has not resumed his original position even though he has performed well recently. He will probably be discharged from the army soon. The higher the level, the longer the age before retirement. This is the rule. If Lu Zhang hesitated to move forward in his position as army commander from now on, he would have to retire in his 60s. Li Shuitian said, Comrade Qi Gang should have been the deputy division commander when we left the army. I hope he can resume his duties as soon as possible so that he will not be burdened by Chenju again. Cao Hongju snorted, what does it mean to be burdened by Chenju? He connived at Chenju and his son. His son is like a little bully. He is now being raised by Comrade Qi Gang's first wife. I heard that he has no control over it at all. He was beaten to a bloody head when he was detained. That boy is now a teenager and is a scourge in his hometown of Hongxin Township. Lu Zhang refused to comment. The quality of Qi Gang's son did not interest him. He just felt pity for Qi Gang's first wife. In her early years, she was abandoned by Qi Gang in the name of a feudal arranged marriage. Fortunately, the elders of the Qi family believed that she was virtuous, so they forcefully kept her in her hometown because they knew that her family would not let her go back, and she, an old-fashioned woman, had nowhere to go. After finally living a clean life for several years, Qi Gang left his son to her again, and she still couldn't refuse because she now relied entirely on Qi Gang's living expenses. Ping Zhenkai bought pig head meat and put it together with the food cooked by Li Shuitian and his wife. After dinner, Lu Zhang said goodbye and wanted to take the children around. Li Shuitian and Cao Hongju sent them out, and looked sideways at the people coming out of the courtyard next door. It was Jin Hong, who was a little rickety. Sure enough, we are enemies on a narrow road. I hung up 3 extra bottles of water and prescribed nutritional injections. There are so many people in the hospital that I have been delayed until now, so I will update a little first. I can't do it today, so I will continue to write.